Hey, what is going on, guys? So, first of all, I got a green screen skit compilation coming out soon starring a certain web crawler, but that's taking some time to put together. So, to fill the gap between uploads, I'm gonna do something which is tantamount to a YouTuber shooting themselves in the foot. I'm going against the grain. All cards are on the table. I'm gonna talk about my unpopular movie opinions.
Grab your torch and pitchforks!
You see, as someone who has reviewed shit now for many years, I often feel under pressure if I go against the general consensus. Don't blame me, I just want to please people. I want to read nice comments. I want those thumbs up, damn it. But as a critic, I guess it's my curse that I am inevitably gonna piss people off every now and then. So I decided, screw it. I'm gonna come clean right now with 10 opinions about movies that would be enough to make saints swear. So without further ado, let's begin.
Activate ray shields!
Number 10. Watching movies is not a social experience for me. Most of the time. So at the risk of being labelled an absolute Scrooge, I never quite understood the appeal of watching a movie with other people. Scrooge! Again, most of the time. Because obviously, to follow along and enjoy the story, you can't be chatting with someone else whilst you're watching. You could miss important plot points, you could miss the punchline of a joke, and you'll most likely miss out on any subtleties that could otherwise fascinate you. So, if you shouldn't interact with your friend whilst you're watching the movie, then why are you watching it with them? I mean, please don't misunderstand. I love watching other things with people. Like, quiz shows are great to see who gets the most questions right. Sports are fun to watch with friends so you can cheer on your favourite team together. And then there's shows with a competitive format. There you can discuss who you like and don't like with your friends and or family while you watch. But a movie is story driven. I want to pay attention. I want to get sucked into the world of said movie, and I can't effectively do that with other people in the same room. That's not to mention those times when you're getting into a movie, but the person next to you thinks it's shit. Often their derogatory comments can sway your own opinion and cause you to enjoy a film far less. One man's Dark Knight is another man's Batman and Robin. If your fellow moviegoer's taste differs than yours, that will lead to a less than ideal viewing scenario. And there's certain films out there where watching it solo is all but mandatory to properly enjoy it. Back in 2014, I went to the movies with a friend to go see Gone Girl. And if you've seen that film, suffice to say you don't feel too chatty with your fellow moviegoer after you've seen it. So, about that scene where the guy got his throat slit in the middle of sex, can we talk about something else? Now, there are exceptions of course, where watching a movie with others can be great. A prime example are films like The Room and Birdemic. You know, the so bad they're good type of movies. They could be a lot of fun to riff on with friends. And perhaps familiar films you're watching again are a good fit. If you and a friend know the plot well, then discussing the film as you go along can be a fun and interesting time. And I'll also give a huge exception to any film you would label as a crowd pleaser. For example, I recently watched the second in My Hero Academia movie, Heroes Rising, and I think I did a huge disservice to myself by watching the film at home. Because Heroes Rising is the definition of a crowd pleaser. Just go on YouTube and look up theatre reactions to it, because the crowd goes insane at it, and rightfully so. And I think that, had I been in a theatre full of fellow excitable weebs, then that would have elevated the film's epicness to a whole other level. MCU movies are also a prime example of this. Though this watching amongst passionate fans experience can be a double-edged sword, because some people can get a bit too excited.
Yeah! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh yeah! Oh! Let's go!
You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm happy watching all movies at home. Fuck people.
Dude, you gotta stop fucking screaming.
Number 9. Movie theaters are closed all around the world. Good. Okay. Sorry. I don't actually think that. But for me, some good has come out of it. You see, a few years back, I made a video called 25 Things I Hate About Movie Theaters. Not gonna delve into those reasons here, go watch the video if you're interested. But long story short, I have grown to hate the movie-going experience. True, there are good things about cinemas, like how the aforementioned big crowd pleasers are elevated in such settings, to the obvious visual and sound upgrade to IMAX. But for me, the bad outweighs the good. And hell, even those who work in Hollywood have grown to see the issue with movie theaters. Like Anthony Mackie was talking about it once at a convention he was at.
I have a great sound system in my house with a great TV. I have my own popcorn maker. I got my own cabinet with my in it, you know what I'm saying? So I can sit here for $8 and watch this movie just like I'm in a movie theater, pause it, freshen my and come right back to it. So why go to the movies?
Anthony, I couldn't agree more. The only reason I ever still go to the cinema is to watch the big movies, like MCU and Star Wars stuff, simply so I can avoid spoilers online. I don't go to the cinema out of desire, I go out of necessity, and that sucks. But then something happened. Yeah, that's all I need to say. You know what I'm talking about, and all I had to say was, something happened. Yeah, COVID-19 decimated movie theaters all around the world, to the point that the highest grossing movie of 2020 was one you probably haven't even heard of. But because distributors couldn't release films in the theater anymore, many opted to release straight to streaming services like Disney Plus and HBO Max, which meant I could watch films like Wonder Woman 1984 and Soul from the comfort of my own home. And I loved it. Pre-COVID, I had to stay off the internet to avoid spoilers until I made a dreaded theatre visit. But now, I can watch a film immediately upon release, and I don't even have to get out of my chair to do it. No more annoying moviegoers, no more expensive concessions, no more sitting through 30 minutes of commercials waiting for the movie to bloody start. Oh, bliss. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking. Oh, you shouldn't be happy about movie theaters closing. Think about the movie industry. The money made from ticket prices help keep it alive. It helps fund new productions. Does it? I mean, this is up for debate of course, but if shows like Stranger Things, WandaVision and The Mandalorian have taught me anything, it's that big budget productions can still be profitable without a theatre release. WandaVision reportedly had a budget of $25 million per episode. That's $225 million over its 9-episode run. For reference, that's $5 million more than the budget for the Avengers. And WandaVision was never intended for a theatre release. So if a show like this is possible, in Disney Plus's early days might I remind you, then I don't see why movie theatres are needed for the industry to survive anymore. Don't get me wrong, the cash that theatres bring in is sure to help, but it's because of this apparent sustainability that streaming services offer. It makes me wish I could see this current movie release method continue in the future. By all means, keep theatres open and running for those that like them, but I do dream of a world where going to them is no longer mandatory to enjoy the latest releases. And for how much of a shitstorm COVID is, it has, at the very least, temporarily given me that wish. I just hope it can continue post-COVID.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Number 8. TV series are better than movies. Yeah, that's weird for me to say that, isn't it? Considering I never talk about TV shows on this channel. But it's true. I am finding far more enjoyment now with media that has an episodic format. I work from home, you see. I always have shit to do. But I need a break every now and then, which is where an episode of a TV show can come in very handy. Recently I've been catching up with a lot of anime that I've missed, and their 20-minute length is easily digestible while I sit down and eat my lunch or something. A movie, on the other hand, is a bit of a commitment. It's not something you can easily fit between things. You gotta set aside 2, sometimes 3 hours of your day to watch one. And cause of this, I find myself choosing not to watch that many anymore. TV shows also have that binge quality to them, don't they? An episode can end on a cliffhanger and you're just dying to see what happens next. It's a cheap tactic, but it bloody works. And cause the story of a season is split into handy 20 or 40 minute bite-sized chunks, you can be much more selective with when you choose to stop watching. I mean, with movies, there is that big budget blockbuster aspect to them that lower budget TV shows haven't been able to replicate. But that slowly doesn't seem to be becoming the case anymore. The Mandalorian, for example, ditched the green screen for a giant panoramic panel of LED screens.
Take this scene in the office of the client, played by Werner Herzog. In a scene like this, surely they just built a simple set, right? Wrong. All of this is that same LED screen.
Poof! This is the future, people. TV shows also have the advantage of screen time. One season of a show will be far longer than a movie. As such, it gives you more time to grow attached to the characters. You'll simply be more invested in someone you've known for several years over one you've known for less than 2 hours. That's my 2 cents. I mean, I still look forward to lots of movie releases, of course, but I'm now finding that I'm looking forward to far more TV shows. Traitor! Number 7. James Bond films have not aged well. Okay, so I saw my brother recently doing a bit of a Bond marathon. He was making his way through the films and I dropped by every once in a while to view the occasional scene. And wow, I didn't realise how dated these films have become. Mostly in regards to...
Dink, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk.
Yeah. Okay, look, I know Bond is designed to be misogynistic at times. Hell, M herself has called Bond as such.
I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
Bond is a flawed character. In fact, you could argue he's an anti-hero. So I can totally accept him being a bit of a dick to women. I mean, there's many instances you'll find where Bond even hits women. But when they're the ones pointing a gun at him, yeah, a smack to the face is called for. And hell, one of my all-time favourite moments from the Connery era is at the expense of a woman who did nothing wrong.
I've got friends in this town!
Exceptionally fine shot.
I didn't know there was a pool down there.
That's dark as shit, but funny as fuck. However, there are many other moments that, when it comes to the treatment of the female characters, they go a bit too far. Yeah, you can add all the musical whimsy you like there, guys, but what Bond is doing there is something that Webster's dictionary refers to as rape!
That's generally the definition.
Look, I know Bond is forward with the ladies, but holy shit, this is uncomfortable to watch today. But there's 2 other moments that, upon rewatching, I was just sat there like, yikes. Like in Live and Let Die when he rigs a deck of cards to trick Solitaire into sleeping with him.
You knew the answer before it was given. Strangely enough, somehow. So did I.
Oh god, I can't be the only one who thinks that's fucked up. Oh, and it doesn't help that between these two, there's an age gap of 24 years. Believe it or not, this age disparity gets even worse.
That's fucked up, man.
Oh, and then there's this wonderful, wholesome moment from Thunderball when Bond has just survived an assassination attempt, and the nurse, incorrectly thinking that this was her fault, pleads to Bond to not tell her boss. That's when Bond does this.
Well, I I suppose my silence could have a price.
Yep, James Bond, the man who should be able to bed any woman he chooses through wit and charm alone, has instead resorted to achieving that goal via blackmail. What the fuck is wrong with you? Look, by all means, make Bond a womanizer, but he shouldn't resort to tactics like blackmail and rape. I feel incredibly disappointed with humanity that I even need to say that. Bond should instead use his mastery of flirting to bed women, because that approach will make him instantly more likeable to the movie-going audience. Women will want to be with him, men will want to be like him.
I'm afraid I'm not that cruel.
Well, perhaps you just had to practice.
Perhaps.
There you go. That's Bond. It's clear the Connery and Moore films are products of their times, and whilst I still do enjoy them, there are definitely fuller moments that, for me, just bring on the cringe.
I tend to notice little things like that, whether a girl is a blonde or a brunette.
And which do you prefer?
Oh, providing the collars and cuffs match.
Oh. Number 6. There's nothing inherently wrong about sequels and remakes. Yeah, I see the hate for this all around the internet. Hollywood is completely out of ideas. What happened to the good old days? What happened to originality? Oh, this is most unorthodox. I mean, look, it is undeniable how much sequels and remakes rule Hollywood these days. But first of all, for people who say, oh, Hollywood is out of ideas, they're not. There's still plenty of original movies still being produced. They just don't do as well. And understandably so. People will go watch what they're familiar with. It's not anyone's fault, it's just human nature. And Hollywood naturally takes advantage of that. But despite that, remakes and sequels themselves can be amongst the best Hollywood has to offer. In fact, there's so many classic and adored films out there that many people don't even realise are remakes. And as far as sequels go, there's many out there that trump their predecessor. Terminator 2, Shrek 2, Spider-Man 2. Hell, most of the Mission Impossible sequels outdo the original. And there's even rare examples where sequels to the most critically acclaimed films of all time outdo the original. Take Blade Runner 2049. I thought that was the better movie, and the original is regarded as one of the greatest sci-fi films ever made. And even with bad remakes, there's many out there that at least had potential to be good. Mulan, for example, I thought was a prime candidate for a live-action remake. The film ended up being terrible, but the idea of seeing a more grounded and grittier tale of Hua Mulan had promise. But online, many people were shunning the film before it even came out, and people still do. For example, there's plans to do an American remake of Train to Busan, a fantastic zombie film out of South Korea. And everyone is calling shit on this. Go to Twitter and you'll find no one happy with the decision. But people, give it a chance. Yes, it might be shit. Yes, it's kinda redundant to remake an already stellar film. But Hollywood does have the advantage of a bigger budget. In the right hands, it could be good. Oh, Hollywood should stop remaking other countries' films. I mean, how unoriginal. I mean, name me one good Hollywood remake based on a foreign film. Magnificent Seven, Scent of a Woman, The Departed. They're not all bad. The thing is, we live in a time where there's not a whole lot of originality anymore. No matter how unique a film may appear, it's been done before. So don't knock a film if it doesn't appear to be completely original, even if the premise of it sounds shit. Give it a chance. It's unfair to judge anything until you've actually seen it. Yes, maybe Hollywood should go a little easier on remaking everything, but don't automatically assume a remake will be bad. You could be in for a pleasant surprise.
I find that unlikely.
Number 5. Best Actor and Best Actress should not be separate awards. Okay, so for those of you who are immediately calling foul, think about this for a second. Why are there separate awards for actors and actresses. Seriously, why? I mean, this sort of segregation makes sense with sports, for example. Women aren't as strong or as fast as men. Sorry ladies, it's true, blame him upstairs. So giving women their own tournaments and awards makes perfect sense. But there's no disadvantage to women when it comes to acting. So why is the award split? Now, I know many of you might be thinking, oh well, they give separate awards for women so they're allowed to have their time to shine. If there was just a best actor category, then the largely male academy will just vote for their fellow man. Women would barely ever win. Okay, I hear you, makes sense. But by that logic, shouldn't that mean every other category should have a separate award for women? You know, like Best Female Editor, Best Female Cinematographer, Best Female Director. Oh, whilst we're at it, cause minorities are so underrepresented at the Oscars, we'll need Best Black Actor, Black Actress, Asian Actor, Asian Actress, Hispanic Actor, Hispanic Actress, Black Male Director, Black Female Director, Asian Male Director. You see the problem? You can't separate an award for increased diversity, because to effectively include everyone, the award show would never end. If actresses can be given their own award for increased exposure, then in the interest of fairness, all women in the industry should be given that honour. But unfortunately, that's just not feasible. Ergo, Best Actor and Actress should be merged. I'd also argue that splitting the award undermines the importance of Best Actress. Yeah, ladies, we know you're not gonna win, so what we're gonna do is give you your own award, where you can compete with each other instead. I mean, do you not hear how patronising that sounds? It implies women can't compete with men, which in the acting world is utter bullshit. So if women can compete with men, then they should compete with men. And in those scenarios where a woman does take Best Actor, it would make her win all the more impressive. I mean, yes, you'd then have the issue with fewer women being nominated. But there's a solution. You see, Academy members right now are mostly comprised of white men over the age of 60. Under this new system, this would desperately need to change, starting with a mandate that 50% of these members are women. That way, actresses have a fair shot at the title. So what, are you suggesting we have only one actor winner a year? No, absolutely not. The Oscars should still separate the Best Actor award, just not by gender. Instead, it should be split into several awards, each highlighting a different type of performance. You see, a huge problem with Best Actor right now is that it only ever seems to award dramatic performances. What about comedic actors? What about voice actors? What about mocap performers? What about stunt performers? All these professionals get shunned at the Oscars. And that's not right. As long as the Academy is comprised of 50% women, as it should be, then women should still get nominated. And perhaps upping the nominees from 5 actors to 10 should help matters as well. Also, there's another issue with splitting Best Actor by gender. What do you do about actors who identify as non-binary? I mean, recently, and I know this isn't related to movies, but it turns out Sam Smith is to be excluded from the Brit Awards because they split Best British Solo into male and female categories. So Smith, who identifies as neither male or female, is out of luck. The same issue is bound to plague the Oscars at some point. But maybe this whole award thing, maybe it doesn't matter. In fact, you could say... Number 4. Award shows are bullshit. Yeah, I think a lot of people need a reality check on this, because award shows are nothing short of a money game. Take the big one, for example, the Oscars. The naive of you may believe that it's the best films that get nominated. It's the time where Academy members go out to uncover the best of the best, irregardless of how well known the movie is or how well connected its director is. No. Enter the For Your Consideration campaigns. If you want your film to be nominated for an Oscar, you gotta advertise it. And advertising costs money. A lot of it. You gotta hire yourself some PR consultants to get your movie out there. They'll charge you about $15,000 for that privilege, but then you'll want to take out an ad in the Hollywood Reporter. That'll be 72,000 smackers. Then you gotta send out DVD screeners to the roughly 4,000 Academy members. That will run you a cool
$1 million.
As you can see, it's slightly out of the price range for a lot of filmmakers. I mean, I'm not saying that the nominated films are bad. 99% of the time, they are very good movies. They just so happen to be all made by producers with deep pockets. But even when the films are nominated and it gets to choosing the winner, the results of that are even bullshit, as many Academy members have gone on record to say that they don't even bother checking out all the nominees. Back in 2013, 2 Oscar voters privately admitted that they didn't see 12 Years a Slave, thinking it would be quote-unquote upsetting. But they said they voted for it anyway because given the film's social relevance, they felt obligated to do so. Oh boy. Or how about these horrific statistics that came out of the 2015 Oscars? 7% of Academy members didn't check out Whiplash, 7% didn't see The Theory of Everything, and a whopping 10% didn't ever think to check out Selma. And it wasn't any better back in the day. I mean, have you heard how the Academy even came about? It was the brainchild of one Louis B. Mayer, who created the Academy to stave off unionists. One day, the dude got together in a lush hotel with 36 people working in Hollywood. He told them that if they signed on as Academy members, their working conditions would improve and that they'd be part of an elite organization. Oh, I don't know. I'll give you a pretty gold statue. Yes! That's basically how it went down. Mayer went on record to say this about Academy members. I found that the best way to handle them was to hang medals all over them. If I got them cups and awards, they'd kill themselves to produce what I wanted.
I'm an evil genius!
So next time you're watching the Oscars and you're mad your favourite didn't win, holy shit, it does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
Number 3. Adaptations do not have to be faithful to be good. So tell me if you've heard this. Oh, that character isn't meant to look like that. They're not meant to sound like that. And since when could they do that? In the original? Nah. Fuck that thinking. Look, if someone wants to do a live-action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Katara works in the IRS, Sokka is an emo, and Aang is played by a middle-aged Jamaican woman,
fucking let him!
I mean, okay, yeah, that is a little extreme, but it's all about interpretation. There are no rules for this. A filmmaker is allowed to do whatever the hell they want with a property. They don't owe the fans anything. So as long as the writing is solid, the characters interesting, and the overall filmmaking is on point, then the film doesn't have to resemble the original IP at all. A prime example of this is The Mummy. The 1999 version doesn't have anything in common with the Boris Karloff one. It couldn't be more different.
The original is a classic and they've turned it into some kind of adventure comedy. How utterly preposterous.
But no one thinks that. Why? Well, because the film is such a fun ride. It did its own thing, but it did it really freaking well. It's why a film like Dragon Ball Evolution fascinates me. When it came out, Dragon Ball fans were not happy, labeling it the worst piece of Dragon Ball media ever produced. But when I got around to watching it myself, I didn't hate it. It wasn't good, far from it, but I had seen far worse anime adaptations. I feel the fans hated it so much because it wasn't anything like the show, but that's not the reason to hate it. Dragon Ball Evolution isn't bad because it doesn't resemble the source material. The film is bad because of things like lackluster writing, shitty editing, and an uninteresting story. I'd highly advise watching the video IlNedge did on Dragon Ball Evolution. He explains this a lot better than I could. Well worth a watch. And the fact is that there's many critically acclaimed films out there that barely resemble the source material. Like, did you know Forrest Gump once joined NASA and went to space with an orangutan? Have you got an inch of my supply? No, but maybe Arthur Winston Groom did. Because that's what Forrest does in the novel the film is based on top of a bunch of other insane shit that probably wouldn't have translated particularly well to film. What I'm trying to say in short is, unless it's a sequel, judge a film as though it's the first time you've ever been exposed to its world and characters. Distance yourself from what you know, because that seemingly insane interpretation of something you hold dear might end up being something pretty special.
Yeah, right.
Number 2. I like fart jokes. I have a problem. Yeah, fart jokes are about as lowbrow as you can get when it comes to humour. But man, a good one can just break me. I mean, I used to incorporate the odd fart joke myself in my older videos. I don't do it anymore because you guys weren't a fan, but damn it, I miss my fart jokes.
Yes, very nice.
I always used to incorporate them when a character made a motion that looked like they were passing gas. And damn it, adding a fart sound over that Tim Curry expression will never not be funny to me. I mean, there are both good and bad fart jokes out there, so perhaps I just wasn't doing it right. Cause everyone loves Dumb and Dumber. Blazing Saddles is a comedy classic. And of course, it's not just limited to movies. Take the million that Family Guy have done, for example.
Oh, yeah. Whew. Oh, God, this is embarrassing.
I guess that I am just ungodly immature. It's just the fact that we as humans all have a very peculiar motion. We squeeze gas out of our anuses, and when we do it, it makes a squeaky sound.
There you go. Don't pop that, you'll throw up.
That will never not be funny to me. Not much to say about this one. I just guess my sense of humor is shit.
Check it out, Dad's on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And my number one most unpopular movie opinion is, I like Jar Jar Binks. Goodbye any credentials I had left, but I'm sorry, Jar Jar has been victimized for years, and I want to speak up for him. Yes, he's annoying, clumsy, ill-mannered, but first of all, that's the point. The other characters themselves hate his guts. People he just met. His own freaking people exiled him.
How rude.
Hell, even the supposedly emotion-free Jedi can't stand him.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
Pathetic life form? Holy shit, dude. But Jar Jar is a pointless character. He doesn't do anything to advance the story. Oh, you know, outside of leading Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to Otogunga, being the liaison between Naboo and the Gungans so they can fend off the droid army together, and giving emergency powers to the Chancellor, which would set in course the chain of events that would eventually lead to the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. But other than that, pointless. Okay, but he's a comic relief that just isn't funny. About that, I think he sometimes is funny. I mean, yeah, his bits are hit and miss, definitely. But I love this moment right after they've just lost power in the bongo.
Just relax, we're not in trouble yet.
What yet? Monsters out there, leaking in here, all sinking and no power? When are you thinking we're in trouble?
I laugh at that, because I think I'd have the exact same reaction. You're thousands of feet underwater, you're surrounded by God only knows how many deadly sea creatures, and you've just lost power. And the guy behind you says, "Oh, we're not in trouble yet." Jar Jar's reaction here is hilariously warranted. And you know what? I think other people like Jar Jar too. They're just in denial about it. Want proof? Well, check out this clip from the Graham Norton show, where Benedict Cumberbatch is asked to do his impression of him.
Oh no, it's a big sea monster.
Now listen to that audience reaction. People love that. But why do they love an impression of a character they hate? Isn't that a little contradictory? I think, for many people, Jar Jar is the character they love to hate. He's just a big punching bag now, isn't he? Everyone makes fun of him. Including me. The fans send their regards. But that in turn makes me respect him. He's subject to all this crap and he just takes it like a champ. Also, Ahmed Best deserves better, man. I mean, the poor guy. Because he got so much shit for what I honestly thought was a good performance. I mean, listen to him talk about the time when he took his son on a trip to New York and they're crossing the Brooklyn Bridge.
Then I got to this point on the bridge that I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was really the reason why I hadn't walked across the bridge in 18 years. It was the spot where I almost ended my life, because 20 years ago, I played Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars. I faced a media backlash that really made me feel like my life was over.
I mean, that is heartbreaking. Put yourself in his shoes. You know, you're a massive, massive Star Wars fan. You get the role of a lifetime and you're all super, super excited about seeing people's reaction to it. Then the movie comes out and everyone despises you, with many people saying that you've ruined the franchise, and with some people going as far as to send you death threats. It's shit like that that makes me ashamed to be human. Fuck people, man, jeez. And with all the hate Jar Jar gets, along with moments from him that I do think are legitimately funny, like, I always love this bit. That is hilarious to me. It reminded me of a Simpsons episode where Homer saves the power plant through dumb luck, and so a new term is coined.
Yeah! A pretzel? Wow, looks like I pulled a Homer.
Jar Jar just pulled a Homer right there. I mean, I don't expect anyone watching this video to start singing Jar Jar's praises or anything, but I would argue he's not even Star Wars' worst character. If you don't like him, that's fine, but I have a soft spot for him, and if that makes my taste in films god-awful, so be it.
Your point is well seen.
So there we go, my top 10 unpopular movie opinions. If you disagree with me, I don't know why I used the word if there. By all means, let me know. But when you do that, you have to share an unpopular movie opinion you have. Because when everyone has shit taste in movies, no one has. Till next time. Hey guys, thanks as always for watching. Quick announcement for my patrons, I'm going to be doing a Patreon exclusive Q&A where I aim to answer every single question that I get from you guys. So if you want to get in on that, follow the link in the description to become a Patreon. The support would mean the world. And to my top tier patrons, allow me to thank you by name. Thank you to Rami Ezzedine, Connor Stearman, Chef Matt Reviews, Callsign Slinky, Phoenix of Dusk, Alex Dewar, General Kenobi, Duarte Belem, Dr. Ten, Timothy J. Kilner, Joey, Thomas Wright, Mark Tonner, Gregorio Vasquez, Lieber9999, Scott Hazlitt, Max Stahl, Goldsboro TSG, Jake Burgess, Joshua Bowden, Jacob Matthew Crawford, Saul Montague, Jack Downey, Christian Lishka, and Stephanie Suchputra. Can't thank you all enough. More videos are in the works, guys, so stay tuned. Take care of yourselves.